Hello, good friends, and welcome to another episode of This is all about stepping up. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is TJ. If you've never been here before, we are here live on a Tuesday, and we talk about all about stepping up in business. And tonight, we speak to a particular business that anyone can start. You don't have to have the all the wheels and bells of starting a business, but we will discuss a business that anyone can start. And wherever you are right now, you can give me your comments and say, TJ, let's talk about this. And as I unpack the business of the day, then you on your side, you can as well start to write to us in the comments. So welcome, good evening to you. I come out to you every Tuesday night at the top of the hour for us to discuss about a particular business. So tonight, I am going to talk about a particular business that I think anyone can do. Well, I don't think that anyone, but I think that if you're dedicated to it, I am sure you can do it. A lot of people are literally illiterate is not being able to read and write, isn't it? But if you're able to read and write, what do we call you? Well, I am talking to all of you guys today that are able to read and write, and particularly those that can write. What can you write? There's lots of things that you can write about. So tonight, I'm going to be talking about how to write books. How to write a book. It's no secret that I am an author. I have done 2 books so far. Yay, 2 books. And for some of you that don't know, this was my first book that I wrote. And today is not about to promote my book, but it is to show you that because I've written a book, I want to show you what you can do by writing a book and how you can write a book. So was my first book. And I wrote this book actually with the thinking that I want to help someone else out there who's probably in debt or probably struggling some way, something like that. And I wrote this book, which is called From Bad Debt to Proper Mogul, in 2 years. And for some of you, this book may help you. And in the description, you will be able to get the link to my website, which is www.taurajjack.com, where you can buy this book. The second one, I published it not so long ago. The second book, it is called it's called Be the First Millionaire in Your Family. That's the second one, right? And I wrote this book here because I'm of the view that it is challenging to be the first one to be different in the family. It is challenging to be the first one in the family to go beyond what the other family members have never been. So it creates its own problems with your immediate support structure that sometimes you can be shunned away, sometimes you can be thought of the other way around. But how can you do it? And in this book, I write about how you can do it. I think being a millionaire was a metaphor for me, but it was the goal also. But how do you become that? There's secrets in terms of how you can do it, and this book can give you that. Again, you can grab you can grab it on my website, and you can enjoy yourself and start practicing. But let's talk about it. Why is it important for actually to become a book writer? A book writer, being an author. I do not write fiction. This is not fiction. This is real life. This is not fiction. This is real life. But the reason why I'm telling you about fiction is that you can go beyond your imagination and you can start to write fictitious stuff. You can start writing what comes through into your mind, and all you need to do is to put it down. I've got quite a lot of books that I've written that I've read throughout the year. And I'm just looking at my bookshelf here. Unfortunately, you guys can't see it. But I've got a very good friend of mine whose name is Yaku Krobler. I've been reading his book of late. Now, here is another book, right? Prosperity Through Property. right? I'm in property, so I read quite a lot of books in property. But this book here, it's not a fictitious book. It's real facts, and you can apply it, right? It's another book. Here's another book. Um, Here is another book here that says um, 12 success, 12 things that undermine our successes. Again, this is a book that's real life, that's written by one of my, I want to call him my mentor, because every Sunday I sit under his leadership, and he just imparts to me. Again, another book that you can also read. I can go on. I can go on. There's another book here. This is kind of like a Christian book, Finding Favor with the King. So it's a book. And again, this is very much around spirituality. So if you're a spiritual person, you can jump on it. So I can go on to talk about books. So let's talk about it. Why would you want to start a business of writing books? So I've got that business. I have it. I've started to writing 2 books, and I want my aim by the end of this conversation is that you are then able to also see that you can start writing books, and how do you make it a business, right? So the first one is that it's a side hustle. You can make it a side hustle, and this side hustle, I really love it because you do it once. I like businesses that I do once, and thereafter I don't have to do anything else. So writing books is one of those businesses where you do something, an event, and then thereafter it's just maintenance, right? Across. And after that, you just printing money, kind of like, is it? So what is writing books all about? Now, in your mind, you have thoughts. In your mind, you have become a subject matter. In your mind, you are this amazing person who knows quite a lot. So you can put all of those thoughts onto black and white, into paper. You can structure them. You can go out there and see a book that you like, and you're like, who? I am going to write my book like this. Copy and paste that. Put in your thoughts, right? Maybe it's got headings like A, B, C, D. Take that and make it your book. Then start writing. You start something, finish it. So it might take you a bit of time to get to finish it, maybe a year, 2 years, some people even 3 years, right? But look, nobody is chasing you. So I have done this. I have written 2 books, and both of my books are out there. People can buy them and they can enjoy them. And out of that, not only can they enjoy them, but they can also practice. And so out of that, I've become in what can be now be seen as an authoritative figure. So you're writing books and you're putting in your comments, your thoughts on paper. You're becoming a thought leader, right? What is a thought leader? Someone who thinks, someone who's out there to give what they've been learning, and someone who can demonstrate that in books, in literature. So you can do that with books. You can do that with papers and things like that. For some of you who are very much in the academic side of things, you'd understand that. People become doctors and so on because of such kind of things. They're putting their thoughts, they're putting their experience onto pen and paper, black and white, and all of a sudden, it is now literature that can be read across the world, and you can then make money out of that. So how do you make money? Let me talk about it. So, for instance, I'm going to give this book as an example, right? Now, we have identified you don't have to write experiences. You don't have to write factual stuff. You don't have to write uh, books for grown-ups. We've all had, some of us got kids. There's books for kids. There's books for gardens. There's books for the walls. There's books for everything. All you need to do is to choose your own subject. When you choose your own subject, then you write around it. Even if it's just fiction, even if it is lies, right? You are the one who's writing it. But the whole thing is that at least it needs to be in black and white, and it needs to be followed. There will be people that will follow you for that, because you're not the only one who thinks the way you think. The world is full of 7 billion people. even if you're to get 1% of people that are going to buy your book, you will make a little bit of money, right? So how do you make the money out of the book? I did say, I'm going to take this book as an example. Writing this book will cost you your effort and your experience and all of those things, and your thinking and your visionary and your a little bit cuckoos in terms of maybe you want to write it, um, to be like out there, So yeah, so it will take you that. So there's no money there. This is what I call no money business, right? So there is no money that is included in that. But actually, what is now happening is that you have spent your time and now you've got a book, right? The second thing is that you're going to have what is called a copywriter, someone who's going to proofread your book to say, is this book, um, does it read well? Is the grammar, is the English, and all of those things, is it all sharp, right? So if you don't have anyone, then you will have to pay for that. So that's the first time now you're paying for something. Then thereafter, you now need to engage a publisher and someone who can take the book to the world, but you're not forced to do that. You can actually also just self-publish. I've done that before. I sell my own books. I don't have a publisher somewhere, and I sell my books, right? So it's a choice that I'm making to run my own business, but you can find a publisher, someone else who can market your business, take you out to the world. It's really up to you. And out of that, potentially you share the profits, right? Again, the business here is a low-hanging fruit because you have just put in time in writing your thoughts, and now you can give it to someone else, and that someone else now is going to do the work for you to maintain it. I choose not to do that. I chose to do that myself. So how do you then step up and make it a business? Right. Well, I've written 2 books, right? Now, both of these 2 books at the moment, they are in print, which means that I can print as many as I can, let's say 1,000 Rand. I mean, it's 1,000 of them. And out of that, I can create a system where these books will come to me. I mean, the orders will come. And as and when the orders come, it can be like maybe a take a lot or something like that, or any of these delivery services. So I can give them my books. So they store my stock with them for a fee. And out of that, as and when orders come in, I don't need to be there. I don't need to be there. But basically, what now happens is that the books then get shipped out. And in some cases, you can even get people that will market it for you. So, which then means that the marketing is being done elsewhere. The management of the delivery is being done with someone else. So, what are you doing? Nothing. You wrote the book a couple of months, years ago, but money is still coming in whilst you are doing nothing. I like those kind of businesses, and that's how you can make it to be a business. What's a business? Business is when you put out something and you're making a profit out of it by obviously delivering a service or by doing something. And in this case here, you have just made it a business. I always ask the question, would you do it or would I do it? Oh, yes. I have just started. I've got 2 books that I've got so far, and I am busy now actually crafting my next book, right? Which will be book number 3. And this time around, I am going to try to find a publisher that can help me to take my book out there so that I can have 3 products, 3 books that are selling. And out of that, I am just making money. The real question that I want to ask of you is, when you've got a business, when you're working in the business, it basically means that you're dedicating your time in the business for you to be making money. But with this business, I am not dedicating my time in it because someone else is doing everything for me. Maybe once in a while, I need to go and print 1,000 books, maybe once in 6 months or once in 2 months, whatever, depending on how it's selling, right? So I pay an invoice. That's my job. Job number one. Job number two is to do to check how much did I how much on a monthly basis was my book actually sold for. So which means that I'm looking at my profit and loss, all right? And I'm also requesting my money to come in. And that's a core business. I really like such kind of businesses. I wish there were so many other businesses that are similar to this, which I call, for me, I call these businesses low effort, high yield. Why do I call this high yield when my book is just 300 Rand or 200 Rand? It's because whatever profit that I'm making, be it is 100 Rand, be it 50 Rand, be it is 1 Rand, I am not lifting up my finger to get that 1 Rand. I am not exchanging my time for me to get that 1 Rand. So it is a good business that's giving me lots of money. Sometimes it's not about getting to the millions. How do you get to the million? Million, you count it out from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you go on until you get to a million. So you can't, if you can't figure out how to make the 1, how do you then get to the million? Makes sense, isn't it? Okay, who can start this? I am sure some of you have already started saying, TJ, I think I can do this, right? I think I can write this, and you're already starting to say, what is the subject that you can write about? Anyone can. You can write, you can write. There's people out there that can also teach you how to become an author, right? There's processes in which you can do it. So how do you become that author? How do you become that amazing author? How do you become an author that sells good books and all of those things? So you can find teachers out there that can teach you how to do that. I found one and I was able to do it. Now, if you're one of those people who are also authors and you want us to feature you here and talk about your authoring experience and how the business of becoming an author has been beneficial to you, because by the way, there are other benefits that also comes outside just you making money out of the book sale. So there's the recognition of you being an author. There is also the recognition of you being a thought leader. There's the recognition also of you maybe being invited to speak or things like that, because you have written your thoughts down. So people now want to understand a little bit deeper of your thought leadership. So all of these things can now start to generate extra income over and above the printing of the money of delivering the books without you delivering the books. Does it make sense? I'm hoping that it makes sense. And in the comments in there, let me know what your thoughts are. So I'm just going to jump into the comments. A couple of people here have written up their comments. TJ, how's it going? Welcome aboard. Thank you. Welcome aboard to you too. TJ, does writing fictitious book sell? I think so. I think those are the books that sell the most, because people want to take their mind away from everyday stuff, and they want to. This is why movies and that's my view, right? This is why I think movies and dramas also sell on TV and movies, is because it's all fictitious. It's fiction. People like that kind of stuff, right? People love stories. So in your book, how are you writing the story? That's the bottom line of it. How are you writing the story? If you're writing the story to captivate people's hearts and minds, there are some people that you find them reading a book, right? Like this could be one book. It's like this big. Have you ever seen people like that? The book is this thick, right? And they're reading it, and they're now page on 255,000, and they're reading it, and they can't leave that. They're just on that book, and you're wondering what's going on. Like, dude, when are you going to finish that? It is because the book is so captivating, it's connecting, and it's interesting, so that the person can't leave it. I've also seen people that have read this much books and they come in series, and people devote their time in reading that. When they read that, they applaud you, the author. So there is an audience for all of these things. Well, let's see what other comments. At average, how much money do you make on a book? Okay. It can be anything from, I never used to make money out of my books before. I used to give my books for free because that was my thing. I was there to help others. So I never used to make money on my books before, right? So I'm gonna start making profit on my books, maybe in a couple of months, I don't know. But I can now start to sell my books at a profit, and it can be anything from 20 rand, 50 rand, 100 rand, 300 rand, 400 rand. It really depends on your book, your stories, the way you're selling it, the way you're marketing it, and all of those things. So there's lots to play. But you do have two variable costs in my view. Obviously, you want to recoup the money of the copywriter, the money of the publisher. You want to recoup that. That's number one. And how long do you want to wait until you can collect that? Is it a year? Is it 6 months? Is it 1 month? It's up to you as the author of the book. The other one is obviously if the printing costs. Yeah, but these days also you can do what is called ebooks. So you can actually send an ebook to someone, and then you avoid the cost of printing, which basically means that whatever that you're selling your ebook on, it's 100% profit, right? So if you're selling it for 100 rand, you getting that 100 rand. If you're selling it for 200 rand, you are getting that 200, right? So that question there, I don't think that it's about understanding how much I am making on profit or how much you can make as profit, but it's to understand your expenses that you need to consider, and obviously what is your bottom line. We're all doing this. Remember, this is a business, right? You want to make this as a business. So that's the bottom line. Now, what's the other question? Maybe I can address two more questions. TJ, would you write the fiction books? I'm not a fiction guy. I struggle like watching very fictitious stuff, even with my wife. I don't do that, so no, I wouldn't write that. I'm a very practical person, so I'll always write practical stuff that can help the next person. But it doesn't necessarily mean that doing fiction stuff is not helping. It helps my wife cool. She relaxes. She watches that. She gets into the zone. I don't. I freak out from that, some of those fiction stuff, right? But that's me. Another question. This is the last question that I'm going to take. Thanks a lot, TJ, on this. This is truly a low effort business, and anyone can truly do this. How can I start? Well, gather your thoughts, put them on black and white. You can write with good old pencil and pen and paper, or you can do what we do today, type, or you can do dictating. So on your computer, you can have a dictator. So what it basically means is that you can open a Word document and it will come up with a dictator, find the features there, and you can have a mic and you can speak to it. When you speak to it, obviously it starts scribing for you. That's faster, but you obviously need to go back to it, and you can now need to put it into written English, right? Or you then just hire a scriber who is going to scribe it for you, write it. Scriber means write, right? Who's going to write it for you, and then now you've got a book. If you've got the money, you can do it that way. I'm a chippy guy, so I went the route of typing on my own. I reread my books 3-4 times before I took them to a publisher. The first time around, my publisher, she was like, wow, she's like a teacher. She read a lot of red marks there, grammar, spelling, wow. And when my book came back, I'm like, what happened? This is not my book. I didn't write this. But on my second book, I was now into it. And she found less errors. So you get better at it as you go along as well. And in my book that I'm writing now, I am writing more cautiously. I'm giving myself time to investigate what I'm writing on. I'm giving myself time to write in the times that I write. And I am giving myself leeway of taking a breather from the actual writing. And that's why sometimes you hear people say, hey, my book took me 4 or 5 years to write. It's because they're taking their time in downloading. It's also a downloading process, right? So it can be done. It can be a business. It's not the business that's going to give you millions, lots of millions. Yes, you can get millions because you can get like publishers who want to buy your rights and things like that, if that's what you're after. Remember some people when they start a business, they want a business that's multi-million. And some people, they just want a business that's going to give them 5,000 or 10,000 or whatever the case is. What's your goal of writing the book? For some, it's not even money. Like at the beginning, for me, it wasn't money. It was just to help others, right? But now I'm going to make a little bit of profit, just for the people to appreciate who I am, my thoughts, and all of those things. Hey, it's been great hanging out with you. I am glad that you've joined me. And also, I'm very thankful for you watching this video. Thank you. If this is adding value to you, in the comments, let me know. Let me know how it's adding value to you. And also, you're most welcome to like it, to give us a little bit of heart, to share it with the next person, and let's continue just loving the channel. Until I meet you again on the next video, it is Step Up.